All right, guys, coming at you with another pro tip. Today we're going to be shaving up some holes. So this particular tailgate has a new latching system. And this was the hole for the chains. We're going to go ahead and hole saw a circle to seal that, and then we're going to basically cut out a little square in order to seal that, and I'll kind of run you through the process. So first, let's start off with the hole. You're going to want to measure out the diameter of it. That looks like about an inch, a little bit over an inch. I think an inch hole would work out pretty good. So we can find a, now here's the trick. What you want to do is you actually want to find out what the inner diameter of the hole saw is going to be, because anytime you hole saw something, you're going to make the hole that's the size of this, but you're actually going to want the inner, the drop or the leftover. So you're going to want to measure the inside of the hole saw and try to figure out the hole that you actually need. Yeah, so measuring out an 1.25 inch hole saw on the inside diameter gives me that 1 1/16 that I'm looking for. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut this out. I'll be using some 18 gauge sheet metal. Hello. All right, so the trick to this, you want to get yourself a magnet, because you're going to use it to get this thing nice and flat. You know, make sure it's cleaned up and there's no burrs. There you go. Get that in there. Look at that. It's looking really good. All right, so you got to be careful with magnets, because unfortunately they actually deter the weld. You go to try to weld this and it's actually pushing the arc away. So you want to try not to aim it towards the magnet, but maybe a little bit further away. You just got to be good with it. We'll move that up a little bit. Get a nice thing back in there. It's a little tricky. We got it. Once that's done, we go ahead and give it a couple extra tacks. I like to use a silicon bronze rod. It actually melts at a lower temperature, so you're able to heat this up and get it melted before the metal melts. And what that does is it helps ensure that you're not blowing holes inside of this. Plus it's nice and soft, so it's really good for filling. It's not a structural rod, so I wouldn't use it for anything structural if you're trying to glue things together, but for filling and sheet metal and things like that, it works really well. All right, that came out pretty good. So I typically like to grab a brand new flap disc, and then you want to keep it nice and flat as you're grinding it. You don't want to go and use the edges here and kind of dig into it, because that's how you're going to get your waves. And considering this is more than likely going to get body worked, or anything that you're doing is going to get body worked, it's just better, the less body work, the better. You're going to have a little bit of a skim coat to get rid of any imperfections, but you don't want to be pounding a bunch of Bondo behind anything. So let the tool do the work, and just keep it nice and flat, and just kind of go around. And you know, this was actually pretty good on my first go, but I've done this you know, a few times. So you may need to go back and fill some crevices. There is some contamination here on the corner. You know, again, it's not that big of a deal, but I'm just going to go over it just, you know, just cause. Once that's done, you can go over the smaller pad, a little smaller angle grinder. And then just because I want to have a nice, smooth, clean surface, I'll just go over it. Ta-da! Hole shaved. So I was running this at about 75 amps and I was using a 1/16 silicon bronze filler rod. Same concept over here. You want to measure the piece. We're looking at about 1.5 by 2 1/16. So we'll get some material. Couple different ways you can cut this. You can use stomp shear. You can use a little Beverly shear, or you can just use a good old-fashioned angle grinder. So far so good. Considering that these pockets have rounded edges, we're going to go ahead and round these edges. Voila! So just like before, give yourself a good magnet that's nice and flat and straight, and then this way you can get this on here nice and perfect with no issues, and everything will stay nice and flat. Ta-da! All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you learned something. Oh, one more last thing. If you guys need any of this material, we do sell what I call a little grab box. It's up on our eBay page. Just a bunch of 18 gauge drops that we kind of save and just throw together in a little cheap box. Just for anyone that needs just a couple small pieces for some patch panels. If you need any other custom pieces made, you know, we can cut you whatever you want. If you need anything, you let us know. And if you have any other suggestions on tips for Just a Tip Tuesday pro tip, feel free to share them, and we'll see what we can do. Other than that, that's all I got for you today. So we'll see you next time.